How's it going, guys? This is King here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I was on somebody else's account, and on this account we are going to try and improve their clan boss team. Now it's this bottom team here, Makai77. So with 2 keys he's doing 55.26 million damage. Now he has got a Brogni, a Demitha, he's got a Taragi, a Geo, and a Venomage, all really solid champions. His gear isn't the best, but we'll do what we can and we'll see if we can give him a 2-key team. So I'll go through his team, see what upgrades and tunes or whatever we can find, and then we'll do a run and see what difference we can make. Yeah, I might run through the builds probably after the run or maybe before. We'll see what happens. Cheers.
So I stuck with the same champions as his team, but I just adjusted their stats, their speeds, and their setup. So we got Demitha, she's opening with an A3 and she's on 173 speed. Geomancer, he's actually prioritizing the A3 then the A2 at 196 speed. Taragi, cancelling out the A2, opening with the A1, he's at 175 speed. Then we've got Venomage, so she is sort of default, but then opening with the A1, she's at 179 speed. And then we've got Underpriest Brogni default, but I just manually prioritize it, and he's at 172 speed. So that's the team, full auto on all affinities, on all the difficulties, well, all the ones that matter anyway. The team champions and all that are stacked, so if you go to the lower difficulties, it'll easily 1 key anyway, so pretty awesome team. Now the idea is that Venomage is 196 or something speed, so she starts off straight away. This is to allow the team to be into a 1-to-1 ratio and full auto, because I want her to use her abilities at the right time. So that's why we made her faster than the rest by a good 20 odd speed. And then we've got, so how it works is Geomancer places his block debuffs and his shield after the clan boss AoE 1 and before his AoE 2. This makes us fully affinity friendly, but we've also got Demitha placing her block damage just before him. And this is really handy because what it allows is that everybody will have block damage except for Brogni, right? So that's awesome, because that means that big AoE 2 hit, which absolutely smacks from the clan boss, will not deal the killing damage that it would ordinarily deal. And then the stun hit will do almost nothing, because after the AoE 2 and before the stun hit, Taragi the Frog places his shield up, and then Brogni grows it and makes it a bit stronger. So that's also really, really good. And then also Geo does Demitha, she does a really, really cool heal and just keeps everybody going. And Venomage places her poisons and her heal reduction. And then the clan boss does his stun hit, which even at turn 50, I doubt would even hurt one of our champions. It might break the shield. But yeah, it's really, really good how it's all set up. And then on the AoE 1, after the stun hit, we've got Geomancer placing his HP burn and his weaken. And then we've got Venomage placing her decreased defense and decreased attack. We've got Taragi doing his A1 for another chance at decreased attack. And Demitha and Brogni just using the A1s. So this just really does allow for that, just to make sure we get decreased attack out, do a bit of damage and whatnot. Now Venomage is in a toxic set, and I would 100% take her out of that after seeing this team run. Anyway, after that, and then yeah, it just gets into sync after that. The team works really well. No increased defense, which I find is pretty cool, but we do have shield, and the shield helps a lot. Now the only thing with Demitha's block damage is that means we do less damage from Brogni, because the shields are not getting damaged because we have block damage. Now what you can do there is you can actually increase Demitha up the turn order, so then more champions lose their block damage, which means that they take hits. And you can just play with that, and maybe eventually you can actually just straight up have her the fastest. I would still use that ability, even though it doesn't do damage, it brings continuous heals. And those continuous heals are really important for this team, because there's no lifesteal and there's no leech. So they're really, really good. But yeah, that's pretty much how the team works. It's fully auto, all affinities, all difficulties, happy days. I'll fast forward to the end and then we'll have a bit of a look. And just before I do, as you can see, the damage is really good. We're almost doing 1 mil per turn, and I think it does sync up quite nice near the end of that. But yeah, I'll fast forward a bit and we'll get to the end. Cheers. So here we are coming up to the end of the run, just getting smacked out there. Geomancer getting one more hit off just because he loves it. Alright, so the damage comes to 42.06 mil under Priest Brogni with a ton. So we got Demithra at 1.4, Geomancer at 14 mil, Torogi at 5, Venomage at 7, and Brogni at 13.5. Really, really solid damage. Again, if we didn't have the block damage, then we would be doing a lot more damage. Alright, let's check out the champions.
So here are the builds. We've got Brogni with the speed, critical rate, and perception gear set. He can still get his gears improved. His masteries are as followed. We're picking up Deadly Precision, going down the left side, and picking up Giant Slayer. So on the shield reflex, he can get tons of damage. Then on the support tree, we're getting Grow Shield and Law of Steel. He comes in with a Brimstone Blessing, and he also has got 60k HP, 3k defense, 172 speed, 106% crit rate, 200% critical damage, 245 accuracy. He's also got 2k attack with the increased attack, so he can do a little bit of damage to make sure that shield grow really helps. Okay, and then we also had Demithra. So she's in a Guardian set with a lot of gear improvements to do. So she can upgrade that there for a bit more damage, and then she's got her helmet and her shield. She's got 45k HP and 2.8k defense. Really love to have those much higher, considering we don't have an increased defense champion. She's got 173 speed, not quite crit cap either, and a little bit of critical damage there. Her masteries are pretty simple. We're just picking up War Master, going down the left side to it, and that's all that really matters for her. This other stuff's on the defense tree, does help her stay alive though. Then we had Geomancer. So he's got a few still things to upgrade there. As for his stats, he's got 40k HP, 2.9k defense, again I'd like that a bit higher. 196 speed, this is just to make everything full auto, where everyone else is wearing that 170, he's on the 190, just to put it all into tune to make it perfectly auto. Only 83% critical rate, 100% damage, and 225 accuracy. I also would love to have that accuracy a little bit higher. Does this guy have any Demon Lord? Oh yes, so he's got the area bonus of +2 speed and 2% ignore. So he better be careful with the speed bonus there, because any more and it might actually mess up the team sync. But yeah, I didn't actually realize that when I was building. Ooh. Got lucky there with the build speed tunes, I suppose. So for Geomancer, we're picking up War Master, not Giant Slayer, but War Master, because his passive has its own inbuilt Giant Slayer, so it's useless to have. So War Master is what you pick up, and then going down some extra accuracy and Law of Steel. Then we've got Venomage. Now, Venomage, and Demithra, she has Phantom Touch. Geomancer has Cruelty, and Venomage also has Phantom Touch. Now, as for Venomage, I didn't quite have time to build her quite how I wanted. Now, she's in a Toxic set, and if you've seen in that run, we had a full debuff bar the whole time, so I'd actually strip off that Toxic set, and I much prefer to have something else on her. Like a Retaliation set would be amazing on her. She's at 179 speed. 86% critical rate, but she does have critical rate gloves that are yet to be upgraded. So that'll go up to crit cap, and that'll help her poison activation as well. You know, a bit of extra damage, a bit of poison. So she's got a fair few stats to upgrade. I really like to get some more counterattack accessories on her as well. If you have more on her, then you could use the Toxic set maybe, but I think we get a lot of poisons thanks to her and Torogi the Frog. Now she's at 3.1k defense, 40k HP. I'd like to see the HP a little bit higher, but the defense is solid. And 223 accuracy. Again, that 230 is probably what you really want, but with a Masteries, that should be right. I never actually did check her masteries. Okay, so this here could be a little issue. So as for her masteries, we more so want to go straight like this, come down here, pick up Giant Slayer, and then we want to avoid any cooldowns or speed buffing stuff, and extend debuffs. So that's pretty much the mastery setup you want for her. You can also pick up a little bit more damage with full HP. You can also pick up some healing when she's a bit low. And if you want, you can increase the chance, but I think she has a 100% chance on all of her abilities, and that she does. So that's all the masteries she needs there. So if we actually had those masteries right when we done the run, we would have been a bit better actually. And same goes for if we had the toxic set out and the gloves upgraded, that would be a lot better. Then we've got Taragi the Frog. I had to swap this blessing out, and I put Faultless Defender on him. So we get this champion will receive less damage from each subsequent hit, which is really, really important when the clan boss uses the A1 and A2, the AoEs, because the Taragi the Frog has taken a lot of damage from the ally protection. So he has got 70k HP, 3000 defense, 175 speed, almost crit cap, very low critical damage, which you want to keep that crit damage really low, and plenty of accuracy at 264. I'd like to see a little bit higher defense because he is the ally protection champion, but other than that, pretty solid. As for his masteries, we're going up for a bit of healing and shields, I guess more so. I haven't changed these as to what he had, so pretty decent as it is. And of course the chance to extend the decrease attack that is on his A1. So yeah, we use his A3 for the ally protection, shield and reflect damage, and his A1 for the decrease attack. Then we have Venom Mage. He places a heal reduction and poison, and then her passive, enemies under heal reduction debuffs inflict 15% less damage, so that's really good. And then she also brings another decrease attack and a decreased defense, very solid, with of course the chance to, each hit has a 35, 40, 50% chance of activating up to 2 poisons. That's why I did have her in a toxic set, so that way, she's not running out of poisons to ignite, but she just wasn't doing enough A1s for that to ever be an issue. You need like an ally attack or a counter attack champion, so I'd really swap out that toxic set for something else. Then we've got Geomancer's skills. His passive decreases the damage by 15% and deflects it back onto the enemy, so that's really good for damage mitigation and also damage. That's where most of his damage comes from, especially with the A2. Even though we have block damage up for almost all the champions, this here deflects here, if they're, where is it, here we go, when deflecting damage on each hit, has a 30% chance of dealing additional damage equal to 3% of the target's max HP. That's why you don't need Giant Slayer on him, because it's inbuilt into his passive. So he's got the HP burn and weaken for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. I think without the toxic set we would have laid down a lot more weakens and done even more raw damage. Then he's got the stripping, the increased attack off the boss, and then just an A1. Demitha, she does a block damage with some nice continuous heals, and that block damage really saves us for sure. And then she's got the increase of the duration of all buffs and also a nice heal. And then her A1 just does a little bit of damage. Each hit places a shield buff for 2 turns equal to 10% of this champion's max HP on the ally with the lowest HP. I'm not too sure how well that plays, and we also have her as an aura lead for an extra 20% defense. I prefer to go for her defense aura over Geomancer's, simply because we don't have an increased defense champion. And then Brogni. Now with Brogni we do go Giant Slayer, because his passive here, whenever an ally under a shield buff is attacked, reflects 25% of the damage inflicted back to the attacker. Also heals that ally 25% of the damage inflicted on the shield. So that there can activate Giant Slayer. So that's why we went Giant Slayer with Brogni. His A3 is block debuffs, increase attack and shield. And then his Grow Shield, which is why I put a bit of damage on, because has a which one is it? Yeah, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of removing 1 random buff from all enemies. Doesn't really come into play. has a 75% chance of removing one random debuff from all allies, but most importantly, increases the value of shield buffs on all allies by 30% of the damage inflicted, damage based on attack. So I tried to put a bit of a damage into him, hence the high critical damage, although his attack is a fair bit too low for it to really affect. But that's the team, and as you can see, we've got some major improvements. So if we go over to the clan boss here, we've gone from 2 keys. I did use 2 keys trying to practice this team. Now where are we? Here we go. So he used 2 keys to do 55 mil damage, and then I accidentally wasted a key testing the team, and then I realized that the speeds are wrong, and because of the live arena Great Hall, that'd be why I didn't quite realize that was in there. It's a new concept, so I guess you learn. But yeah, the last team really racking out a lot of damage. He now has a 2 key team, fully auto on all affinities. Happy days. Well, I hope he enjoys his team, and I hope it works well. Let me all know what you think of the team. I know he's some pretty good champions and some solid gear, and he's got a fair few blessings, but Ultra Nightmare is a challenge, and it's a challenge I hope he can keep going with. It's quite the funnest area, I believe, in the game. Alright, well, I'll catch you later, and thanks for watching this. Cheers.